So let's get into Elon Musk. He announced that he brought back substantial amount of shares in Tesla, and that sent Tesla stock skyrocketing. It's up $25 today. So talk about the strategy and even talk about like corporate buybacks, because we haven't spoke about that in a while. So that's something that could be potential education for the audience if they're not familiar with corporate buybacks and what that means for a company.
Corporate buybacks are just the company investing into the shares and taking more shares off the market. I thought the timing was really fascinating because Larry Ellison became the richest person in the world for a day or two. Kudos to the generational wealth that he's created for him and his sons. But this was a little bit of an egotistical move, but good investment for Tesla. Elon, of course, is taking that lead back, of course, and then also it's a sign of confidence for what's to come. I know he was at a summit this past weekend. Elon looks focused, and I've always said a focused Elon, when he's not in an alternative state, is a great leader, great entrepreneur. Will the stock come back down as a result? Eventually, yes. Expiration is on Friday. Be mindful of that. It did send the stock flying, but anytime we have a bounce this much of like 5% or 6% in a day, you are going to revert back to the mean. So I think Tesla fall back to maybe 388.52 at some point. That would be a good potential buying price. And another one is at 406.65. But in terms of buybacks, it is a vote of confidence. And I will say, ever since he's left the White House and him and Trump had their kerfuffle, he's had a different level of focus that we hadn't seen maybe in the prior year or two. And him, Vlad Tenev, Satya, that elite tech entrepreneurship class, it seems like they're more focused than ever. Going back to the conversation that you guys had with Magic, these next 3 years are incredibly important. And it seems like he realizes that as well. So he's focused on Starlink, Neuralink, Tesla. So you have to remain bullish on Tesla for the next 3 or 4 years until
when you say he's focused, what do you mean?
I was critical of the alternative supplement use 2 years ago. And we talked about this before, like when you're doing a SWOT analysis on the threats, you don't want to have the White House and president upset with you. Ever since they broke up, you haven't heard him do anything but really work. And that's an amazing thing. Like, it go back to the Bud Terrence Crawford thing. You don't hear anything about Terrence other than him working out.
Well, I mean, because Elon's been on Twitter. He's still on Twitter every day.
Yeah, for sure.
He's talking about the Charlie Kirk thing nonstop. He wants to put billboards in every city. He's talking about the Ukrainian girl. How come that thing? Like he's still playing that the extreme.
But that's on his platform. But from what I hear from someone who works at Tesla, he's at headquarters more than he used to be even prior to being in Washington. So he's still doing his Soldier Boy thing on Twitter for sure, but he's in the office more, kind of rallying the troops since that chip of being in the White House has went away. The whole Doge thing has went away. So
yeah, I think it definitely is an ego play. When you talk about buying back 2.6 nearly million shares, the largest single private acquisition in the history, I think it was about $1 billion. So what does that do? I think it speaks to conviction in your company, right? You should believe in your company. When people see you believe in your company that much, that usually shows confidence. So when you see CEOs or you see companies buying back, that's what it is. There's a certain amount of shares that are outstanding. If they take those shares off the market, that raises the value for their existing shares. So that's what's happened here with Tesla. I think the focus, when we think Tesla, I think that has changed, and he's kind of getting away from the idea of it just being the EV company, which is why the sentiment has just been Robo Taxi and Optimus, and that is going to lead it to the future. Even last week when we saw that vote of confidence, they created an actual plan to make him a trillionaire. right? He has to meet certain incentives. The incentives, some of them were like, yeah, you have to sell this amount of cars, but the other part was like, hey, Optimus has to do this.
Other ventures,
these other ventures have to do this. And so there's a pathway. So that the board at Tesla obviously firmly believes in him. It doesn't matter what he says or what he puts on Twitter. They
by force or by choice, not to cut you off.
I don't even know if it matters. Right? I'm not sure, because every time they vote in his favor, correct?
Yeah.
So I mean, at this point, it really doesn't matter. But yeah, this is one of those things. All right, I'm watching the space, even from a standpoint of Larry Ellison, like that's a partner of his. They do business together.
They do.
So I agree with you. I think the time of it is very interesting. It's one of those things. We saw Oracle pull back. Now he's number one. Here comes a buyback. Let me get some of these stakeholders that are inside the company and shareholders. Let's make them happy. The stock has kind of been consolidating and trending on the downward. Here's a vote of confidence. I believe in it. This is how much I believe in it.
Yeah. And also for my technicians, anytime they get from that 412 to 439, 59 range, there's usually a pullback of some sort. So be mindful of that. For those of you who are looking to get in today, I wouldn't get in today at that price. Wait for a pullback and then you'll be A-okay.